One of the best things about eBay is the amount of tools they give us to run our business the way we want. But when you're new, that flexibility can actually be overwhelming because there's so much to explore. So in today's video, I want to talk about 5 key tools that I think every new eBay seller should at least know about. These tools are going to help you grow your store, attract consistent sales, and make listing at least a little bit easier. I'm going to walk you through each tool, give you mini tutorials, show you where to find them. That way you can start to see what's worth trying and what you'd like to start using in your business right now. Let's get started right away with store subscriptions and the perks you get with those. Most of the other tools we're going to talk about do require you to have a store subscription, so that's why I wanted to start here. Most new eBay sellers do start off with a regular selling account, which is fine. Those have many great benefits as well. But once you start listing a lot more consistently, and especially if your plan is to build a thriving reselling business, then it's a good idea to start looking into store subscriptions. I'm going to go onto my computer and show you what your options are, talk about prices, share some resources you can look through to decide which store is right for you, and then we'll talk about some of the perks you'll get as an eBay seller when you open up and sign up for a store. Here are your 5 options when it comes to an eBay subscription for a store. You have the starter, the basic, the premium, and then these last 2, Anchor and Enterprise. These are probably only going to be for very high volume sellers. There are monthly and yearly plan prices shown right here for each of the stores, but something important to know is that if you do go with a yearly plan to get the discounted rate, you aren't going to be charged that whole amount up front. For this basic store, for example, you will still just pay $21.95 a month, even if you went with a yearly plan instead of the $27.95 if you went with a monthly plan. You're basically just getting the discount for committing long term, but you don't have to pay it all at once. I started with the basic store yearly plan, and they deducted the $4.95 from my eBay earnings once a month. Eventually, it made more sense for me to move on up to this basic subscription with the yearly plan, and now eBay deducts $21.95 a month from my earnings. To decide what store is right for you right now, there are 2 things you can do. One is scroll down here and look through this comparison chart right here. This shows you at a glance what you get with each subscription. The other thing you can do is go watch the videos that I have on the screen. Those 2 videos is what I reference to decide which store subscription was right for me. The links to the videos will be in the description. Now let's go over some of the main perks you get when you sign up for an eBay store subscription. Number 1, you're going to have the ability to create a custom branded storefront. This is beneficial because then customers can follow your store just like they would follow a social media account. Here's what my store currently looks like. At the top, I have a banner that I created using Canva. If you scroll through here, then it will show what you put in this about section right here. This is what I put for mine. Down here, shoppers are able to see all of your stats, your feedback, and they can search through all of your listings using the search bar, or they can look through your stuff using categories here. And actually, my store could be better organized. You can segment all of your listings into different specific categories. Let me go to someone else's store to show you what I mean. Here's a seller that's doing a really good job at segmenting their stores and featuring different categories, and it makes sense for them because it seems like they sell all sorts of things. So if a buyer comes across their page, it's easy for them to look through these featured categories up here and just click into whatever they're interested in. Another great perk you get with a store subscription is this right here, subscriber discounts. When you click into that, it's going to take you to this page where it will show you your quarterly coupon you can use on eBay branded shipping supplies. I already used mine for this quarter, so a discount code isn't available, but I'm going to click into see details to show you how this works. Again, I already redeemed it, but if I hadn't, then there would be a special discount code right here for me to use. All you have to do is click copy, click on start shopping here. That's going to take you to eBay shipping supplies store. And basically you can just look through here and find anything that you may need for your business, whether it's boxes, tape, poly mailers, or anything else. Add it to your cart, apply your discount at checkout, and the stuff will ship to you for free. The discount you get is going to depend on your store level. With the basic store I have, I get a $25 coupon every quarter, and here's what I use it on most of the time. These 12 by 10 by 8 boxes. I usually go with the 25 count, and after the discount I end up paying about $24, shipping included, so the final cost for these boxes for me is about $1 a piece, which is not bad at all. A couple more perks you'll get with an eBay store subscription is lower final selling fees, and you'll get a lot more analytics and data to see how your store and the categories that you list in are performing for you. Some of the perks that I've been talking about are going to depend on what store level you go with, so make sure you look through that comparison chart I showed earlier so that you know exactly what you get with each tier. I'll leave that page linked in the description. This next feature can save you a ton of time, especially if you're listing some of the same stuff over and over again, and that is listing templates. eBay listing templates are basically pre-filled listings that you can use again and again. For example, if you're always listing women's athletic sneakers, you can make a template that already has the right category selected, all of the item specifics selected from the drop-down menus, the right shipping policy and return policy, and so much more. That way, when you are listing a new pair of women's shoes, all you'll need to do is select that template, fill in the title, add your pictures, and fill in the small amount of missing information that's on that listing, and it'll be ready to go. To start creating your templates on your Seller Hub, under the listings tab, you'll see here one of the last options is listing templates. Once you click on that, you'll see this blue button that says create new template. The first thing you want to do here is at the very top, give your template a name. This is only for you to see. Make it something very detailed and specific that helps you remember what kind of template this is. That way it's easy to spot when you need it. I went with athletic shoes. Obviously, pictures is something that's going to change with every new listing. For title, add only the things that never change. For me, my titles for shoes more or less always look like this. These are the words, keywords, and describers that are going to be the same pretty much with every athletic shoe I list. All of my athletic shoes do have a SKU number that starts with the D, so I would add that there. And of course, we'll put the appropriate category here. So in short, that's basically what you're going to do with the rest of this template. Fill out any of the drop-down menus and choose the things that are always going to be the same. Here's what my item specifics for this listing template looks like. I have the department set as women because this will be a women's athletic shoes template. So let me go ahead and add that up here to my title template name too. And as for the rest of the specifics here on theme, I chose to have athleisure, outdoor, and sports always selected. The comfort feature. And another thing that almost never changes is the performance and activity. I chose these three main ones. Closure is almost always lace up, so I'm going to go ahead and choose that. On the rare occasion that it's a slip-on, then I'll go ahead and edit it when I'm listing. But since 90% of women's athletic shoes are lace up, I'll just go ahead and leave that right there for now. Occasion is always the same, activewear and casual. And then season for athletic shoes, it can be any of them, so I have them all selected. Most of the items I list are pre-owned, so I can go ahead and select that here. If you have any policies you'd like to add to your description and for it to show up every time, go ahead and add it here in this description box. Shipping policy is always going to be priority or ground advantage for shoes, so I'll go ahead and select that one. Most athletic shoes do ship in a 12 by 8 by 6, so that's what I'll put for the package dimensions. Click Save Template. If you want to start using this template right away, go ahead and click this first link here. If not, go ahead and click Done. And when you're ready to create a new listing using your template, you can click this down arrow here and click Create Listing, or if you go to Sell, then Create Listing here. You'll see your many options here to get started with your listing, and one of the ways is going to be templates now, and you'll see a list of all the templates you've created here. Just click on it, and from here basically you're going to add your photos and fill in any of the missing information that isn't pre-filled beforehand. By creating listings this way, you already have a listing that is halfway done or more than halfway done, and it's going to save you a lot of time. There are a few more things I want to talk about when it comes to templates before we move on from this topic, and one is that setting up templates does take time, so it can feel like it's actually slowing you down at first, but trust me, in the long run it's going to save you a ton of hours. The next thing is that you can start off making your templates very broad, like just having one for shoes, jackets, and maybe jeans, or you can make them very specific and have some for athletic shoes, some for loafer shoes, then some for winter jackets and blazer jackets, bootcut jeans, and on and on. It's up to you how you want to do it, but my suggestion is always to start off very broad. See if you do like listing with templates, and once you get the hang of it, then you can start going ultra specific with your templates. I use templates for all sorts of tasks in my business, in reselling, and in YouTube, and anytime I start off using templates for a new task, I always start off general and then go more specific over time. This makes it a little less overwhelming to start. And the last thing is to keep in mind that eBay only lets you create 50 listing templates, so you can only get so specific before you reach that limit, and that's why instead of using eBay, I use List Perfectly templates instead, as I show in this video right here. There currently I have about 70 templates going, and I expect that to continue to grow as I move on to different clothing categories. But if eBay ever lets us create unlimited listing templates, then I would probably switch to doing that instead, because it would be so helpful to have all of those drop down menus pre-filled for certain categories that I list. Now let's move on to the next topic, and that is business policies. Just like listing templates, business policies are pre-saved setups that you can use again and again. But instead of it filling out your item specifics and your item details, business policies will save your various shipping details, return policies, and payment settings too. These are going to be very helpful for you if you list things that are various sizes, or just anything that requires it to have a different return policy than your other items, or different shipping options too. On my computer, I'm going to show you where you find these business policies on your listing page, and then I'll show you how to set up these 3 policies in the back end. The policies I'm going to talk about show up on your listing page. Here's one of my listings for some boots. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and towards the end is where you will see all of these policies, starting with the pricing policy. Here's where you will see a drop down menu of any policies you've created for pricing, and for shipping you'll see it in the shipping section right here. Once you click on this drop down menu, here are all of the ones that are available for me right now. And for the return policies, you can find those right here under preferences. If you click this pencil icon right here under returns is where you will see your return policies. As you can see right here, 574 of my listings, which are all of them, are under a 30-day free return policy. I do have a no returns policy created, but I haven't added any listings to this one. So that's where all 3 of those policies will show up. Now let me show you how to create them in the back end. To add or update any of your policies, hover over your store name up here on the top left hand side on the eBay website. Go Go to account settings, and that should bring you to this page right here. Business policies can be found under the selling section. Go ahead and click on that. There are three main type of policies you can create for your business. There's payment, return, and shipping. Right now I have it under all policies, but you can click into these to see only specific ones. And I'm going to go over each of these. Let's start with payment policies. Now eBay handles all payments directly instead of using PayPal like they used to. So you don't really need to create a policy for payments nowadays, but I'm going to click into it just so that you can see what it looks like and how it works. For each of your policies at the very top, first you're going to give it a name, and below this is optional, but you can add a description to your policy. These two fields right here are more for personal use. Buyers aren't going to see this. It's just for you to be able to keep track and identify each of the policies you create. And for payment policies, you have two options. You can require immediate payment when buyers use the buy it now option, or you can allow offline payments. What I and what most other resellers do is require immediate payment. This offline payment option is going to be more suited for people who do offline transactions. This is something you'll probably never use if you're just selling everything online and shipping everything out. Once you're done making any changes to a policy, go ahead and click save. Now let's talk about return policies. I'm going to click in this first one. Here at the top is the title I gave this policy, 30 days return for domestic and international sales. I didn't add a description. I don't have that many policies, so it's easy for me to identify them. But if you do have a lot because you're selling all sorts of items and you require a lot of different type of business policies, then I do recommend you add a detailed description just to keep everything in order and to be able to find and identify your policies quickly. For domestic returns, here are the settings I have set up. I allow it within 30 days. It is free for the buyer. I pay returns, and when I do get that return, I give them their money back. The other option would be to offer a replacement as well, but since I sell single items, one-off items, that doesn't apply to me. If you're selling a lot of the same kind of items and you can replace the item for them if they want to return it, then you can select that one. For international sales, I have pretty much the same thing, except buyer is going to pay the return shipping. Once you're done making edits, again, go ahead and click save. Now let's talk about this last type of policy, shipping. This one does look a little bit more cluttered and there's a lot more options than the previous two that I talked about. I left it like this on purpose because sometimes this can happen, and I bet some of y'all's looks just like this. So I want to explain what all of this is and what it means. The only shipping policy I ever created myself is this very first one, priority or ground advantage. All of the shoes that I list on eBay have this option selected. That way buyers get to choose. If they want to pay a little bit more and have their shoes shipped out priority, then they will choose that. If they don't mind paying a little bit less and waiting a little bit more for their item, then they choose ground advantage. All of the rest of the shipping policies that you see here that have a bunch of numbers at the end, those were created by eBay. This usually happens when you list an item without selecting a saved policy beforehand. They'll just auto-generate templates for you to use again later. And that's probably what happened with all of these here. I do have a new shipping policy I need to create, so I'm going to show you how to do that. But first, let's clean up this mess right here. The first thing I'm going to do is look under this listings column right here, and the ones that say 0, I can just select and delete if I don't need them. And I don't need these auto-generated shipping policies eBay created, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that for these. The shipping policies that do have listings under them, I'm going to go ahead and select them. And instead of clicking delete, I'm going to select reassign listings. I want all of those listings to go to the shipping policy I created, the priority or ground advantage option. So I'll leave that selected and click submit. Now eBay's going to be working on that in the background for me. I should be able to refresh this page in a few minutes, and all of these listings should be moved up to this top shipping policy that I selected. In the meantime, let me go ahead and show you how to create one from scratch. Click this blue button up here and select the type of policy you want to create. In this case, we're doing the shipping one. I am starting to sell clothing now, so I want to be able to offer buyers the option to have their clothing shipped either ground advantage in a regular poly mailer or priority mail in a padded flat rate envelope. Depending on where they live and the weight of the package, one could be cheaper than the other, so I want to go ahead and give them that option. Here is the title I'm giving this policy. It's for regular clothing. GA means ground advantage. That's one of the options. PM means priority mail. That's the second option, in a padded envelope. This title is specific and detailed, and it's going to help me remember exactly what it is when I'm listing and I want to choose a different shipping policy for that listing. And for this one, I'll go ahead and give it a description. Next, we're just going to fill out all of these drop-down menus. First, tell eBay what the shipping method is going to be. For most of us, if you're selling clothing or shoes, it's going to be this first one, small to medium items. If you're selling large things, then you can select freight, or if you're selling locally, then you can select no shipping. Then we're going to select how we want to charge shipping. Do we want to do a flat rate, the same amount for all buyers no matter where they live? Or do we want to do calculated shipping so that eBay tells the buyer an estimate of what they're going to pay depending on their location? The one I go with right now is calculated, so I'm going to select that. From there, you can click this plus button here to start adding the services you want to offer with this specific shipping policy. The first one I want to add here is this USPS Ground Advantage. And the next one for clothing, I want to offer the padded flat rate, which is right here. So I'm going to select that as well and click save. And now we have those two options here. If you wanted to offer free shipping, you could select this box. I'm not going to do that right now, so I'll leave it as is. If you wanted to add a handling cost, you can add that here if you want. And for international shipping, I'm not going to do anything different. I'm going to leave it as is. That way, the same domestic shipping options will apply to international shipping too. I'm going to leave local pickup toggled off because that's not something I do. And then for handling time, I always keep mine at 1 business day. There are no locations I want to exclude, so I'll leave that alone. I'm just going to scroll through the top and review everything once more and click save. Here is my newly created shipping policy. I just realized I spelled regular wrong. Let me go back in and change that real quick. There are 0 listings under this shipping policy right now because I just created it and I haven't used it yet. But the eBay auto-generated ones that I reassigned earlier now also have a 0 next to it. So I'm going to go ahead and select those and delete them since I don't need them anymore. Now, moving forward, when I'm listing a brand new item under the shipping section on the listing page, when I click the drop down menu, I'll be able to see the brand new shipping policy I created. But if you want to apply existing listings that you have already to this policy, here's how you would go about it. Go to your active listings page, go to categories, eBay categories, and find the category that you want to edit the shipping policy for. I'm going to go to clothing and shoes, women's clothing, click apply, and let's just say I wanted to apply my new shipping policy to all of these listings. I click this arrow here to select them all. Go to business policies. We're doing the shipping policy right now, and here's the brand new one I created. Go ahead and click apply, and all of your listings will be edited with the new policy applied. This fourth tool is what, in my opinion, makes eBay one of the best in the game when it comes to reselling platforms, and that is the marketing tools they offer. eBay gives us so many different ways to market and advertise our stores and individual listings too. There's so many that I haven't even tried them all, but I want to tell you about 2 very simple ones that you can start using today, and that is promoted listings and discounts. Many of you have probably already heard about promoted listings, but here I want to share why it may be a good idea to at least test it out, and then I'll go on the computer and show you how easy they are to set up and manage in the long run too. The main idea with promoted listings is that when you use it, your items are going to show up higher in search above non-promoted listings. And as you may already know by now, anything that shows up higher in search has a higher chance of being clicked on and then ultimately bought, so you have a higher chance of making more sales when you promote your listings. This is a very high number for me right now, but at the moment about 70% of my sales are coming from promoted listings. That percent does go up and down throughout the year. It just depends on the season, the type of items I'm listing, the category, and the ad rate that I have set up. But for the most part, the majority of my sales do come from promoted listings. So unlike Poshmark's promoted listings on eBay, they really do work, and they work really well. And the way I see it, if you're already constantly cutting prices or discounting your items, why not try promoted listing first? In the end, you may end up moving your items faster and for a little bit more money, even after a small ad fee. To me, promoted listings is just another way to get more visibility on my items, possibly make more sales without having to cut my prices way too soon. So if you're convinced and you want to try it out, let me show you how to set them up. When you're listing an item, at the very bottom of the page, you will see this option to promote your listing. You can either choose the general option or the priority. The main difference between these two is that with priority, you get more visibility, but you pay every single time someone clicks on your promoted listing, whether they buy or not. With general, you get a little bit less visibility, but it's still going to be a lot, and you only pay for a promotion fee if the item sells after someone clicks on it. If they don't buy, you don't pay. If they do buy, then you will be charged for that. So for that reason, if you're just starting out, it's best for you to stick with general promotions instead. That way, if no one buys from your paid ads, then you don't have to pay eBay anything extra. To use either of these two, all you have to do is toggle it on right here. And then you're going to put a percentage right here that you're willing to pay eBay if your item does sell from an ad that they put up for you. eBay does give you a suggested ad rate right here. That is usually pretty high. I like to stick with anything from about 2 to 5%, but when sales are slow, I will sometimes bulk edit my listings and apply eBay suggested ad rate instead. Let me show you how I edit my promoted listings in bulk. On your seller hub, go to your active listings. There you'll see a promoted listing drop-down menu. There are 482 that are already being promoted, and there are 90 that aren't. Those are the ones I'm going to select. Going to click this box at the top left to select all of them. Go to actions, select promote. I'm going to go with general, toggle that on. And like on the listing page I showed you previously, you can add your own rate, or you can just apply the suggested ad rate that eBay gives you. That's the one I'm going to go with for this one. Go ahead and click apply. And that's it. All of those listings will now be promoted for me with eBay's suggested ad rate. If promoting your item doesn't help an item sell, that's when I try the second marketing tool I'm going to talk about, and that's eBay's discount feature. Let me walk you through the different options you have with that. To get to it, hover over marketing here on your seller hub. Click on discounts. If you click on this blue drop down menu right here, you'll see the different kind of discounts you can offer buyers. The first one is a coupon. These are codes that buyers are going to use at checkout to get a discount off your items. You can also do order discounts. This is more like you'll get $10 if you spend $50. That kind of discount is good for bundles. Then we have sales events, and with this one you're going to do a store-wide sale sale that anyone who's browsing on eBay can see. So you can do 30% off of everything, or you can do just specific categories like 50% off of sandals. When summer is about to end, that would be a good sale to run. You can also do shipping discounts, and that's where you can run something like free or even just reduce shipping promotions. And then there's a volume pricing. This is where you can give buyers a discount if they buy 2 or more of the same kind of item. All of these discounts are pretty easy to set up. eBay walks you step by step, but I'm going to create a new coupon discount with you just so you can get a better idea of how it works and what it looks like when you make one. For this type of discount, first thing is at the top, you're going to select the visibility. If you choose the public option, then your discount is going to show up for all buyers on your eBay listings when they click on it. You can also do a private coupon, and this one is best to use when you have an audience outside of eBay, like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You can share this coupon code with them privately, so only they can use it. Or another thing you can do with private coupons is print them out and add them to buyers' packages so they can use that discount on their next purchase. Next, you're going to click the type of discount you want to give. Most of the time it's a % off, but you can read through these to see if anything else will work better for you. Maybe just a certain amount off or a certain amount off each item. I'm going to leave the first option selected for this one. Put the amount of % off you want to give. I think anywhere from 15 all the way up to 30% can work. I stick to 20% almost all year round, and sometimes I'll bump it up to 30% when I want to move items more quickly. Go ahead and give your discount a duration. When do you want it to start and when do you want it to end? Here's where you'll add the code that the buyers will be using at checkout to get the discount. You can create your own code or use one of the suggested ones that eBay gives you down here. If you don't like any of these, go ahead and click this regenerate button and it'll give you different options. Click this down arrow right here to see even more settings. Here at the top, you're going to give your discount a name, and this is for personal use. Buyers aren't going to be able to see this. It's just for you to be able to keep track and identify all the different discounts you're using on your eBay store. If you want to put a cap on the discount buyers can get at one time, go ahead and add that here. And if you want to limit how many times a customer can use your code, you can select that right here. I usually keep mine at no limit. You can also set a budget if you want by check marking this and adding that amount here. Over on the right hand side, go ahead and tell eBay which items are going to be eligible for the discount you're creating. You can leave it as all inventory here, or you can select certain eBay categories or store categories that you have set up. You can also do manual and add specific items here. Once you're done filling all that out, go ahead and click launch down here. And here eBay will give you several options for you to promote this discount you just created. Here you can promote your store and highlight your new discount. If you click share, you're going to get a link that you're able to use to promote your store and your discount code on social media. You can also send a notification to past buyers about this coupon. If you click here on buyer group, select a buyer group you've created in the past, add a message if you want, and click send. And then your last option is, like I mentioned earlier, you can print this coupon so that you can add to customers' orders. Aside from the marketing tools, this next tool is one of my favorites, and it's becoming more so as I learn to use it more. This tool is designed to help sellers make smart pricing and sourcing decisions, and that is research tools. The two we're going to talk about are product research and sourcing insights. For new sellers, these two tools are great to help you avoid underpricing your items and to focus on items that actually have a high demand on eBay right now. Let me show you where to find them on your Seller Hub and how they work. To use the research tools, again, go to your Seller Hub, and here under the research tab is where you will find those. Here off to the left hand side, you can switch between product research or sourcing insights. Let's start with this first one, which is the tool that I use quite often to price my items accurately. To get started, just type in a few keywords or an item number if you know it here into the search bar. The example I'm going to be using are these Vionic shoes. From the inside tag, I know these Vionic shoes are called the Kinsley style, so that's what I'm going to type in here along with the type of shoe it is, which is a loafer. It's going to give you a few suggested categories. You can select that here now, but if you want to change it later, you can. I have this set to 3 years because I was doing some different kind of research, but most of the time what we want to look at for pricing is either the past 90 days or 30, but mostly I go with 90. My category is already selected because I did it in the earlier screen, but you can change it here if you want. And then from there, select all of the filters that apply to your item here to get the most accurate data possible. This next section right here will show you exactly how this item is performing on eBay. You can switch between sold items and active items. The active will show you what this shoe is listed for on eBay right now. You can manipulate this data by clicking these arrows here. That way you can sort items from the highest price to the lowest price. That's what I usually do, and then scroll down to about the middle to know a mid-range of pricing, and I will either go slightly above or slightly below depending on the demand and depending on the season and how great of a condition the item is in too. You can do the same thing in the sold tab, sort the sold prices, and then you can see from highest to lowest about how much it has sold for in the past 90 days and use that information to come up with your price. I do have a more detailed tutorial on this research tool where I talk more in depth about all of your setting options, and also this tool is available on the eBay app as well. So aside from using this as a research tool for pricing, you can also use it to research items before you even buy them. To see the app version in action, you can check out this blog I published recently, and to see a more detailed tutorial on this research tool on the computer, you can check out this video here. Let's move on to the next research tool, which is sourcing insights. This tool is going to help you identify top-selling categories and products based on demand and supply gaps. Here at the top, there are 3 different tabs you can switch between. First, you'll have any categories you've saved or favorited because you want to keep track of and follow. You can search and browse around different categories to see what's selling best in those. Or if you click on top categories, eBay will tell you what's selling best right now overall. One of the things that's selling the best at the moment are action figures, then it's athletic shoes, then we have books, and then cards. So whichever way you decide to research, whether it's by saved categories you've done in the past, or if you want to just browse around, or if you want to look into eBay's top categories to dig even further, just click on the category link. That's going to take you to this page where you can start looking around at different graphs and trends. First thing you want to do though is select your format. If you're selling things just on fixed price and not auction, you definitely want to have that selected, and select your condition too. Most of my items are pre-owned, so that's the condition filter I'll select. Down here, you'll start seeing different graphs that show all sorts of data. This one right here is for click-through rate. This is for total listings on eBay that are athletic shoes. And then this last one is total items sold in this category. Down here, you'll see even more data and specific things that sell within this category, like the colors that do the best. And here you can also see the average sold price. If you want to dig even further into any of these, click this blue arrow here. This is going to take you back to where we came from earlier, product research. So you can start narrowing things down as much as you want. Like earlier, go ahead and select the filters that apply to you. That way you narrow your search and you see only the type of items you like to sell or the type of items that you find often. I find mostly women's shoes, so I'm going to select that category. I'm selecting the pre-owned category. And then for format, best offer or fixed price are the ones that I want to see. I usually don't use use the filter price when I'm doing other kind of research using this tool, but for sourcing insights, I do like to use it only because I don't want other products that are super high end shown up here, like Gucci, Prada, Chanel, all of those things I don't want in this data because I most likely am not going to find it. And if I ever do, then it's an obvious pickup if it's at a reasonable price at the thrift store anyway. For this category, the max price I'll put is $300. And now that everything is set to go, here's what we're left with. eBay told us that athletic shoes is a popular category right now, so that's why we're researching this. I used filters to narrow down my search so that I'm seeing only the type of items that I sell and the type of items that I'm most likely to find. Now we can start analyzing this data and make notes of certain trends. First thing you can do is look through these charts right here. We are under the sold tab. So for sold items in women's athletic shoes, this is what the price is looking like over time. Here are the total sold over time as well. So look through all of these charts just to see how things are doing with this category. Then you can scroll down here to see the sold listings. You can rearrange them from high to low. And another great idea to do here is to open some of these top listings in a new tab, go in and look at their titles just to see the kind of words they're using to describe their items. And of course, if you see a certain brand coming up again and again, or a certain aesthetic or fashion style, make note of that, because if they're showing up here in eBay's popular categories, that means it's something that people are looking for. If you do this kind of research at least a few times a week, over time you're going to start noticing patterns and things are going to start clicking in your head so that when you go out sourcing, you know exactly what to look for and you have a better idea of what has a potential of doing well on the eBay site and what doesn't. If you'd like a part 2 of this kind of video, let me know down in the comments. I could possibly do some for other platforms too. I'm constantly learning about new seller tools and learning new ways to use them too, so I could definitely make more videos like this one. If you have any questions about anything I talked about today, leave that in the comments too. That's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.